fresh news update across the federal ministries, agencies, and parastatals is next on Ministry News. The Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, on Thursday said the BBC and Daily Trust will face consequences for glorifying terrorism in their reporting. According to the minister, the recent published documentaries by the BBC and Daily Trust containing interviews with bandit warlords gives legitimacy to terrorism. The Minister of Defense, retired Major General Bashiru Salihi Magashi, said the federal government has put in place mechanism to establish a world-class military hospital akin to Walter Reed Military Hospital in the USA. The minister made this known during the workshop on reforming military health services in Nigeria, held in Transcorp Hilton Hotel, Abuja. While declaring the workshop open and symbolically flagging off the needs assessment and strategic review project, the minister stated that there is need for a coordinated and unified system to tackle enormous challenges for the benefit of the armed forces and Nigerians. He said in realization of the need to have a wholesome reform of the defense sector, standardization of medical services for the military is of utmost priority.
When we are witnessing suboptimal performance of the armed forces health system. The armed forces health system is bedeviled with numerous challenges, necessitating the need to engage a consultant to carry out a comprehensive need assessment of the armed forces health system.
Disturbed by increasing security challenges in the country, the Ministry of Interior is planning to hold its annual security retreat to provide robust platform of engagement of critical stakeholders to address issues that pose threat to internal security. The Permanent Secretary of the Ministry, Dr. Shuaib Belgore, who disclosed this while addressing the members of the retreat, tasked the members to put in their best for the national assignment, urging them to surpass the achievements of the last committee by ensuring that this year's stakeholder security gathering will be a success. Belgore made reference to last edition's retreat and charged the committee to leverage monitoring and evaluation reports to improve the assignment based on recommendations and observations. The Ministry of Police Affairs has inaugurated members of the Ministry's Delivery Task Team to steer and facilitate the provision of first-hand information on the implementation status of the various policies programs being implemented in line with the present administration's 9 priority areas. This was disclosed in a press statement by the Ministry's head Press and Public Relations Unit, Bolaji Kazim. The statement disclosed that the inauguration workshop was declared open by the Permanent Secretary, Mr. Temitope Fashedemi, at the Ministers' Conference Room at the headquarters of the Ministry of Police Affairs, Abuja. In the address read by the Director of Finance and Accounts, Mr. Ahandoka Emmanuel, stated that members of the technical team were carefully drawn across key agencies and departments, noting that the process of monitoring, accessing, and reporting the implementation of priorities and deliverables of the ministerial mandates will be done with high sense of credibility. The Minister of Aviation, Hadi Sirika, has said there are no immediate solutions to the lingering crisis rocking the country's aviation sector, stating that the variables impacting the crisis in the aviation sector are beyond the industry's control. The minister disclosed this during an emergency meeting with the Airline Operators Association of Nigeria, AON, in Abuja Tuesday. According to the minister, some of the solutions in view include importation of the product at appropriate price, accelerating the refurbishment of the refineries, including the much awaited Dangote refinery, to boost supply of the product. Mr. Sirika further said he will be meeting with relevant stakeholders, including the Central Bank of Nigeria, to see how the airlines can access dollars at the official market rate rather than the black market rate.
We sat today as a family to discuss, to agree on what to do, and also to approach the entities that are responsible for this so that collectively we can save the sector. 10,000 metric ton of the product was given to the airline. That helped at a controlled price, control meaning that the landing price plus their cost and a bit of margin.
The federal government has approved the lease of 3 Airbus and Boeing aircraft to commence domestic operations. The Minister of Aviation, Adi Serika, who disclosed this at the end of the Federal Executive Council FEC meeting in Abuja, told reporters that the airline, already christened Nigeria Air, will take off soon. It disclosed that the airline will begin with domestic routes and then expand to regional and continental operations.
As to the make and type, most of them are either Airbus or they are Boeing, especially for the intercontinental and international flights. And this will start as domestic airline and then would of course grow to become regional and international, also intercontinental.
The federal government has approved 16.82 billion naira for the dualization of the 78-kilometer Kano-Katsina Road project and procured 32 operational vehicles for the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA. The Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, disclosed this on behalf of the Minister of Works and Housing, Babatunde Fashola, to journalists after the weekly Federal Executive Council meeting in Abuja. According to him, the contract was actually awarded sometime in 2019, but the contractor, having done appreciable work, asked for a review of the quality of engineering, and the contract deal was augmented with a sum of 16 billion naira, thereby revising the substitute contract from 29 billion to 46 billion, and it was awarded to CCECC of Nigeria Limited, who are actually busy on that road. Lai Mohammed also presented on behalf of the Attorney General the approval for the NDLEA to purchase some 32 operational vehicles to enhance the operations. Also briefing newsmen, the Minister of Mines and Steel Development, Mr. Olamilekon Adegbite, said Council approved the Nigerian Mining Value Chain Regulation for the development of raw materials into refined products before exportation. The federal government had gotten 16 billion naira tax credit for the construction of the Lagos-Badagry Expressway. The Minister of Works and Housing, Babatunde Raji Fashola, disclosed this early in the week at the headquarters of the ministry. On concerns about the delay on the construction of the Lagos-Badagry Expressway, the minister explained that the speed of work on that road, as well as some others, were dependent on the funds available for such projects. He, however, noted that work is in progress on the project. The federal government has solicited stakeholders' collaboration to bridge the housing deficit of Nigerians for the overall development in the country. Mr. Jide Ode Martins, the Director, Planning, Research and Statistics in the Federal Ministry of Works and Housing, made a call at the 11th meeting of the National Council on Lands, Housing and Urban Development on Monday in Sokoto. Ode Martins said the theme of the 2022 meeting, Housing Our People by All of Government and All Our People, was chosen in a bid to further address the housing needs of Nigerians. According to him, stakeholders are expected to fine-tune the recommendations from the two-day technical meeting of directors from necessary provisions of our various institutions towards adequate housing infrastructure by government and the private sector. The Honorable Minister of Transportation, Engineer Muhazu Jaji Sambo, has appointed Dr. Abubakar Dansoho as Chief of Staff. Dansoho holds a PhD in Maritime Technology from Liverpool, John Moores University, UK, MSc in International Transport from the University of Wales, Cardiff, UK, and a BSc from the University of Maiduguri. With over 25 years professional experience in the maritime sector, it is hoped that Dansoho's appointments as Chief of Staff of the Ministry of Transport will leverage on his wealth of experience, excellent track records, and commitment to innovative approach to tackle the multifaceted challenges in the transportation sector. The federal government began the disbursement of 20,000 naira grants to poor Nigerians under the Grants for Vulnerable Groups programs Thursday. The initiative, which was done through the National Social Investment Program, kick-started in the Federal Capital Territory, which is expected to progress to the 36 states of the Federation. The Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, Sadiya Farouk, disclosed this in Abuja at a parley with stakeholders on the implementation of the GVG program. The minister said the program was introduced in 2020 to sustain the social inclusion agenda of the federal government, as this was consistent with the national target of lifting 100 million Nigerians out of poverty in 10 years.
We hope to see petty traders, peasant farmers, artisanal workers and other beneficiaries of this program, including people with disabilities, to prosper.
The World Health Organization, WHO, has declared its commitment to support the full implementation of the National Health Insurance Authority (NHIA) Act, which was recently signed into law in Nigeria. The WHO Technical Officer on Health Financing, Fadi Dikimi, made the announcement when he led a delegation that paid a courtesy visit to the Minister of Health, Dr. Osage Ehanire, in Abuja. While expressing commitment to support the operationalization of the recently signed NHIA, Dikimi added that the visit was to fashion out possible ways to effectively operationalize the NHIA Act for the benefit of Nigerians. On his response, the Minister of Health commended the WHO team, saying the gesture was a welcome development. The minister further solicited investment and a higher level of care at the suburban level in order to achieve universal health coverage. The Ministry of Youth and Sports Development tough stance on anti-doping measures and the increase in the number of tests carried out by the National Anti-Doping Agency, NADA, has earned Nigeria the commendation of the Athletics Integrity Unit. In commending Nigeria, David Holman, chairman of the AIU, said he was pleased to see significant improvement in the efforts to clean up the sport. The Minister of Sports, Sunday Dare, who has been the driving force in the push to improve Nigeria's anti-doping status and image, says the AIU's commendation is confirmation that the ministry is doing something right. And finally, on ministry news, the federal government has reiterated its unwavering support towards the implementation of the National Gender Policy on Agriculture. The Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development, Dr. Mohammad Mahmoud Abubakar, made this known recently when he received members of the National Gender Steering Committee, led by the Action Aid Country Director, Ms. Eneobi, in his office in Abuja. Dr. Abubakar commended the steering committee for its great achievement towards creating visibility and awareness, especially in translating the national gender policy in local languages to ensure the domestication of the policy in some states of the Federation. In a remark, the country director, Action Aid Nigeria, said that the national gender policy was an assertive document which recognized the limitations of growth and development of the agricultural sector. She pointed out how female farmers have been supported by different ministries through Action Aid Nigeria with agricultural produce and training programs throughout states of the Federation for subsidized rates.